Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me again on a Wednesday for a weekly video. I'm Marg from Creative Stamping with Marg. Today we're going to do a nice, easy card layout that I kind of copied from the last paper pumpkin kit. That's where I got my inspiration from. So there's a few things, Stampin' Up! Related news that I'll pass on to you. So let's go down to my desk. All right, let's go down here. Lots and lots of things on my desk today to share with you. So first things first, that's on my desk is the new paper pumpkin kit that's going to be released. You need to subscribe before April the 10th, and I can help you with that if you're not a paper pumpkin subscriber yet. Beautiful box. You can see all the watercolor colors. It is going to make 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs with coordinating envelopes, and there's going to be some textured gold foil and some butterfly embellishments, I heard. So those are all very interesting details about that. And there is coordinating add-on dies if you want the dies. It's 166238 is the number, and they're $16.50. You get 4 dies. This is the word hugs for April that will coordinate with the April kit. And then May's kit is a label, and June's kit are these two, a flower and a leaf. So those are extras if you are wanting the die cuts. Okay, put that to the side. I have my Fun Fold card kit PDF sitting here. So these were the 4 cards. I'll show you the actual cards. And I'm paying honor to our 5 outgoing in colors that will be leaving us at the end of this catalog, which is the beginning of May. So Moody Mauve. So there's one card that has the Moody Mauve and the Wild Wheat in it. And I have this card. These are all Fun Folds. This card has Pebbled Path and Copper Clay. This card has the Wild Wheat, and this card has the Boho Blue. So you get all 4 of these cards, the PDF directions to put together. All the pieces would be cut for you. The only thing I cannot do is stamp, so you would have to use your own stamps. Now, I have used a variety of stamps in all of these cards, so anything that you had that would fit, and of course you can make them all thank yous or birthdays or whatever you would like. So those are the 4 cards you would get. You would also get, I'm including one sort of a surprise card that came from a paper pumpkin kit, but it has all these colors in it. So I thought it went really well, and it'll give you a chance to see how paper pumpkin works. So you would get these 4 cards plus the surprise card, all the directions in a PDF file that looks like this. And it's $15 for a porch pickup. If I am mailing it, it would be an extra $5 anywhere in Canada. I cannot mail outside of Canada. So we'll move our ink pads away. Just the reminder that these 5 colors, like I said, are retiring when our catalog retires. So if you wanted these colors, any paper, inks, markers, refills, anything like that, you would need to get your order in. The sooner the better, because these start disappearing. Today we are going to use the Boho Blue. I thought I'll use it again. So I will show you the card that was my inspiration. This came in the Daisy Daydream. This was my last paper pumpkin kit. This was the March kit. Beautiful kit. This was one of the cards. So you can see that it has a cutout circle in this white piece, and this white piece is up on dimensionals. And then they gave us a patterned piece of paper, which I actually ran through an embossing folder and gave it some texture. So it's just like a very easy card, but I think very effective. And I thought, oh, I've got lots of ideas for this. So I thought I'd take this idea and sort of elaborate on it. So it's just a plain card otherwise, but just has this extra detail on the front. So that was my inspiration card coming from that paper pumpkin kit. All right, so our base today is 5.5 by 8.5, and you can see I've done some stamping already. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25, so it's going to be just a regular card that opens like this. I have used the elements of text, which is a new stamp set. I've used it and just done a little stamping on the inside to make it just interesting. It really doesn't say anything. There's a few words you can pick out in each one, but it just is an interesting background. So I've already done that in the boho blue. So I used a deckled rectangle of white, just like this. And you can see this is kind of a deckled rectangle that they've put on the front of this card. So I know the deckled rectangles are retired, but I still have mine, and I don't have the new rectangles yet, which they're on my next order. So I took a deckled rectangle, the largest one, so it's going to go on the front here, and I used my dies to cut that hole in it from the Stylish Shapes. So I used the second largest circle, and I cut the hole in it for that peekaboo window. I took some paper from our Thoughtful Journey paper, and I just wanted a watercolorish background, and it could go any way you want. It doesn't really matter, but I love this paper because it's got so many possibilities. But I thought that could go in there, and I cut that. It's a bit smaller, as is this one. You can see it's a bit smaller than the white circle. I used my 2 3/8 inch punch, and I just punched that circle out of my designer series paper. So I have that. And you can see I also stamped using the elements of text on this, just around that. It's going to go on there like that. And then I wanted some kind of a die cut, like in this one it had the daisy. So I went through what I had, and I thought, well, I'm going to find something here. So what I ended up using came from Flowers of Beauty, and that's these dies. I used this tall one here, and I cut it out of Petunia Pop because it goes with this paper, and I thought it could go on like that. And then we needed a greeting, and I thought that I would make this into a sympathy card. You can use anything you want. And I took the Friends for Life die. I should have brought it out here. I have it on my table still, but it looks like, I like it because it looks like almost like a paint swatch. Here's my silicone mat so you can sort of see. It looks like a paint swatch almost that you use. And it just is, I used it just because it was the right size for what I was doing. And the words, Dearest Friend, come from Thoughtful Wishes. And I just stamped them in boho blue, and this is the die. This is the die that comes from Friends for Life, but you could just do it on a strip. You don't have to do it like this if you didn't have that. And I left it the full length, even though I stamped close to the one end, because I didn't know if I wanted to cut it off or not. I wasn't sure yet, so I just left it the same size. So that came from Thoughtful Wishes. And the inside, I cut another deckled rectangle just sort of to mimic the outside in the white. And I've stamped it with Sympathy, which comes from Unbounded Love, because I wanted it to be a sympathy card. All right, so those are all the pieces. So let's put this together. The easiest way I found was to put this on, and I'm putting it up on dimensionals. So I decided instead of using proper dimensionals, I am going to use dimensional strips. So these are the foam adhesive strips. They come two big long strips like this. In a package, you get, there's 40 strips, and you can cut them any length you want. So I'm going to use these on this project because they're just perfect. So I'm going to use 2 long ones, and I'm putting them kind of close to the circle, because what I find with things like this, the circle tends to push down too much. So I like them kind of close to that circle. So like I say, you can cut these any length you want, but it's just so much simpler, I think, than putting a whole bunch of dimensionals on it. So there's that. And then I am going to get my scissors, and I am going to cut a couple more because I need them a bit shorter. Those ones are a bit, I think they might be a bit too long. So I'm going to cut these next two just about like that. So I'm just cutting them while they're still on their backing, cutting them on here, and then you can just pull them off the backing and they'll be what you need. So I find these very handy for the bigger pieces. And of course, these are the strips that you use if you're making a shaker card. Okay, so put those strips on. Sorry, I can't get this one off the backing now. Maybe I didn't cut it all the way through. Don't think I did. Again, these sort of rip just the same as your dimensionals, so you can do that too. All right, so I just put this on here like that, and then I'm just pulling the strips off, the backing of the strips off, and we'll put it on. And because the DSP circle is smaller, you can easily fit it in once you've got this on. So just put this on the front of the card, and I want it somewhat centered. Looks pretty good. Push that down. Then I'm going to just put some white glue on that. And this is such beautiful paper. Thoughtful Wishes. Yes, Thoughtful Journey paper, sorry. Thoughtful Wishes is the stamp set that goes with it. Okay, so I'm just putting this on here and just sort of centering it into that opening like that. There we go. And I think what I do want is this. I didn't know if I wanted it to go up the middle and just have this across the bottom. I just want it fairly simple if it's a sympathy card. I just don't know about my greeting, but this could be to the side. I think maybe I do want it just over to the side a little bit. So the thing about this is it's going to be across this opening, and this white piece that you're gluing it to, of course, is raised. So you almost want to put some dimensionals behind the center of this somewhere. So I think I will just turn it over, and I will get some mini dimensionals, which I have on my table here somewhere, right here, and see if we can't put some mini dimensionals. And if they're too big, you can always cut them. And I think they might be. So I think what I'll do, I can actually take some of these strips that we just had. I had a short one cut here. I just don't know if it's going to show. Let's just turn it over and have a look. It is. So I'm not going to put that on there. And I didn't stick it down, so it's not going to be protruding. So I will just cut some of these mini dimensionals, possibly in half. And they're easier to cut when they're on the paper, but just don't quite know. I'll cut these two right here in half. Maybe makes it simpler. They're not easy to pick up when they're so tiny. I'll use my take your pick. I think that'll work better. Okay, and again, I just want this. I'm just going to put this back on here again. But where do I want this? I think it would be good if there was one here, and that's a nice spot for it right there. And I need another one, but it needs to be up a bit, I think. This is tricky because it is quite narrow. And that one shows a little bit, but maybe something closer to the top here. I have another one right here. Maybe right there. Like that. Let's see how we did. Okay. And probably no one will notice think that's, oh, that's maybe too. No, I think that's pretty good. That one there. That one there. Where's the other one? Oh, the other one's there. Okay, I think we're okay with that. The rest I'm going to glue down. So I'm just going to put a little bit of white glue along the stem here because I want those to be laying down fairly flat. And I think that's good for now. And we'll take the backings off those little pieces that I put on there. If I can get them off. That's one. There's the other one. And one more. Okay, like that. And we'll just try this now. Okay. Okay, there we go. So we've got that down. Then I'm going to put this across, and I think I'm going to leave it this length, and I'm going to put maybe a gem on there. I haven't decided what to do. I don't want a lot of anything on this, but I did pull out some of the tinsel 3-pack, tinsel gem 3-pack, and there's the colors are actually Misty Moonlight, but I like the blue on here. I thought it looked good. So I thought I think maybe I will cut this off a little bit. Now it is kind of rounded, so I think I will just maybe just cut it like that. There, that's maybe better, and I'll put my gem on there. So I don't think I'm going to raise this up even. I'm going to just glue it right down onto the white. Just like this, I think, and have it sticking over there a little bit. That looks good. And I will put one, and I might just use a small one, gem on there, just like that. Very simple on the outside, I think. I'm a little disappointed about this. It just seems to be sunk in there a little bit, but I think it's all right. Okay, and then the inside, we just put our greeting in. So you want to stamp your greeting first on your inside layer, whatever size you're putting on here, and put a little bit of glue on it and center it in the inside. Now I did some stamping here, and I just kind of thought I might just not even center it, just kind of put it to the side a little bit, just a little bit different. So it's a very simple card, as you can see, very quick to put together, but I think it's quite effective. And I think, you know, there's lots of different pieces of die cut that you might have that would lend itself to this sort of a card. So there's my inspiration. There's the card that we made today. And I will show you one more. One more I made out of, this is the Full of Life paper. And this time I used the Thoughtful Wishes stamps. I used that stamp in Pretty Peacock and stamped it onto the die cut. And for this one, I used the Nested Essential dies, and I used the largest rectangle to cut out my greeting in the Very Vanilla. And this time I glued the paper down and I raised the inside piece here. And there is a window cut out of this. I did cut it out underneath. You can see there. Okay, and so I just laid that on with a few gems. Again, very simple. The inside, I just cut myself a piece of Very Vanilla, and I used a retired corner rounder, and I rounded it because I wanted it to kind of look like this die cut, and a strip of the paper. And I did stamp on the paper with the splotchy stamp that's in the Thoughtful Wishes, right? That little stamp right there. And I just used some stamped off Pretty Peacock to stamp on it. So I thought that turned out really cute. And another idea for an opening. The opening doesn't have to be round. You could do any shape you wanted. And we have in the Stylish Shapes, or sorry, in the Nested Essentials, you have this shape that you could have used. And in the Stylish Shapes, of course, we have squares and we have circles. So there's lots of ideas. You don't have to always use a circle. So I thought I'd do that to show you that one. So there's my cards for this easy, I don't know what we'll call this, window card maybe. And just a little bit of designer series paper and a little bit of interest with a die cut. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. If you did, I really appreciate your thumbs up, and thanks for subscribing. To those of you that subscribe to my channel, you won't miss my videos. I try to do them every Wednesday. So I hope everybody has a great week.